Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Saturday, August 30th. This will be the week 3 message for Political Science 1013 for the fall 2025 term, the first 8 weeks. Okay, everybody, it's Labor Day weekend. I don't know exactly when you all will be seeing this message. No later than Tuesday the 2nd, I hope, with our exam coming up on Wednesday the 3rd. So we'll come back from Labor Day on Tuesday and take the exam on Wednesday. We've talked already about Units 1 and 2. You need to look at those class notes, be sure you've looked at them. And also, I hope the accompanying textbook chapters that were assigned. About 30 of the 50 items will come from that material. The remaining 20 will be from the 4 articles I've asked you to look at online, 5 items each for a total of 20. Everyone, there are links to those articles in the announcement that went out. They should work. If they do not, please contact me. Please try to look at those links as far in advance of Wednesday the 3rd as you can, so that we won't be waiting till the last minute. But if there should be an issue, I will try to get that material to you. So look, we've talked about the Units 1 and 2 class notes already. Let me say a few words about these articles. Now you have two articles about the 2 political parties and voters that they are trying to cultivate. One about the Republicans and Latino or Hispanic voters, okay, and another about the Democrats and working class voters, defined by and large as voters with a high school education or less, not college educated voters. Okay, but that's open to some interpretation. But in any case, how each party is lining up and its problems that each party might face with certain categories of voters. Then everyone, you have an article about political violence. This article came out a few weeks ago, earlier in the summer, in the wake of the assassination of a member of the Minnesota legislature. Now, we know we've had any number of acts of political violence going all the way back to the presidential election campaign. There were 2 attempts, as we know, on the life of President Trump. And those are not all. There have been several other incidents of political violence. It may get to the point, if it's not already, of making people averse to serve in public office because of the danger that might be inherent. So that's certainly worth looking at and contemplating. Okay, then finally, everyone, you have an article from the Atlantic Monthly website by Gene Twenge about young voters under the age of 30 in the 2024 election and how they might break down going forward. President Trump did well with such voters. The author of your article anticipates that those voters will be up for grabs in years to come. So take a close look at what she has to say about that. So 4 articles, I expect 5 items on each of those articles. Wednesday the 3rd, the exam will be available for 24 hours. 30 minutes once you begin it. 50 items, 2 false and multiple choice. So that will be our first exam on Wednesday. Now everybody, for the rest of the week, once we get through with the exam on Wednesday, we're starting to work on material for the midterm exam, which is coming up on the 16th. And you're going to have 2 sets of class notes to look at, 2 units on the media and on the Constitution. So let me just get started on those. The shorter set of class notes is on the media, and there are 2 things we're trying to do there. Number 1, we want to look at the different categories of media. And we're mostly concerned these days with new media versus old media. Old media being print and television by and large, and new media being websites and social media. Okay. And of course, it looks like new media is elbowing out old media, probably not completely. Where will that balance be struck? Okay, that's one concern that we have in looking at the media landscape and the different types of media outlets that we have. Then we finish that unit looking at questions that arise about media coverage or news coverage. And some of the more important questions that arise involve bias in the media. Okay. Reporting always involves some interpretation to say very much of interest about what's going on, and issues of bias will always arise. Okay. So that'll be an issue that is addressed as you move through to the end of that set of class notes. Now, that's a relatively short set of class notes relative to Unit 4 on the Constitution, which is much longer, and there's a long reading assignment from the textbook accompanying that. Okay? You have 4 chapters and some important American documents that are in the appendix to the textbook. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution itself, and 2 of the Federalist Papers, and we hope that you will take a look at those. Now, what we do at the beginning of those class notes, we go through 150 years or so of American history leading up to the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War, and the Constitutional Convention. Okay. What happened was the British left the American colonies alone for the better part of 150 years. But then when the French and Indian Wars, so-called, broke out, the British began to exercise tighter control and imposition of taxes on the colonies for the sake of fighting the French and Indian Wars and defraying the expense of that, which, of course, as we know, led to the slogan, "No taxation without representation." Okay. Eventually, the American Revolution follows as the Americans decide they want to shrug off this tighter control that the British all of a sudden had imposed on them compared to what they had known for a long time before. Of course, we know the Revolutionary War was won. Then, for a few years, once the United States of America is first established, the governing document, you might say the first Constitution, was called the Articles of Confederation. But very quickly, the Articles came to be viewed as inadequate, and there was a campaign begun by people called the Federalists to establish a stronger national government, and that's what led to the Constitutional Convention and the writing of the Federalist Papers by primarily James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, essays arguing for the adoption of the Constitution that was promulgated at the Constitutional Convention. And that is where we will leave it off for now. I would suggest spend a couple of days looking at the media material and then move on pretty quickly to the material on the Constitution, because it's a longer set of class notes, a longer textbook assignment, and it will require you a good bit more time. You might want to take the exam, then look at the media material through the weekend, and then you want to get to work on the Constitution material the following week. Once the exam is over Wednesday, sometime Thursday, we will get a set of announcements out to you about the reading assignment for the midterm exam, and we may try to get 2 discussions in before the midterm exam. I will assign the first of those right after the exam on Wednesday, and look for that and maybe a few more announcements in your inbox and up on the announcements page of the course website by Thursday. All right, everybody, that will do it for now. We wish you good luck on the exam. The exam is Wednesday, don't forget. Available for 24 hours, 50 items, 30 minutes to take the exam. So we wish everybody well on the exam. Good luck, and we'll talk to you once again in about a week.